Hi, everyone. This is Carrie, and we are back for more on the Trezell and Jacqueline West trial. As you know, they've been in recess since last, what was it, Wednesday? I believe we had several days off there. So, kind of getting back into gear. They had the biological mother up, they had Jacqueline's sister up. So, let's get straight to what's going on here today. First witness today is April Brown, and she is a criminalist at the Kern County Crime Scene Lab. She assisted with processing the van, and she also took notes and helped with the blood testing in the vehicle. Her main focus was to look for blood evidence inside the vehicle. She worked with Alfredo Bayaca, who we heard from last week. After applying Blue Star, they found that there were very few tiny reactions on the rear bumper of the van and none on the interior of the van. When uh, Torres Stallings, Jacqueline's defense attorney, got up to across her, she asked about the positive test on the rear bumper, and she had Brown say that it was smaller than a grain of rice. And then the other defense side for Trezell got up, Victor Nasser, and he confirmed that the sample was never tested to be blood. When Smith got back up to redirect, he asked her about her notes on the car seats, and she stated that in her notes, some of the car seats were not secured. The next witness they brought up was David Loyo. He was the neighbor. He lived at the Lotus Lane Apartments, so he was a Bakersfield neighbor. He said he would see the West walking around occasionally, and Prosecutor Smith asked if he'd ever seen any children with him, and he said he would usually see maybe 4 or 5. He said that he never saw the West children go out and play with his kids or other kids. He said the neighborhood kids would often play together outside, but not the West children. When Smith asked him if he was aware that the West had moved, he said no, it was just like one day they were there and then the next day they were gone. Then Torres Stallings got up to cross him and asked about where he worked. He works at Bolt House, which I don't know what that is. Uh, in September 2020, he was working from midnight to 8 a.m. and he would sleep during the day. Ah, there we go. So he's not up. How could he possibly know they're not playing if he's asleep during the day? That's where she's going. All right. Loyo went on a podcast after the boys were reported missing. He didn't speak to law enforcement until much later. Mm. She also asked him if he knows of the time frame of when he saw the apartment was empty. He said yes, really not good with dates and times though. He said that the interview with the YouTube podcaster was about what he remembered seeing of the kids. He said it was similar to the interview he had 2 years later with the police. Loyo said he occasionally offered the kids juice. Sometimes they accepted it. He said, but if you'd go on their house and knock on their door, they would never answer it. So in his testimony, I kind of got the impression that it was like, okay, if you saw them outside, like if you caught them outside and said hello to them, they'd speak back to you. You could, but you would have to make that interaction begin with them if you caught them outside. Like they're just probably going to say hey or smile or whatever. But he said that if you actually would go over to their door, knock on it to, say hello or whatever, they never answer their door. Then they brought up David Hunter. And Hunter is a special agent for the FBI. He investigated violations of federal law in the Bakersfield area, specifically crimes against children. Hunter said their assistance was called for the investigation to help with collecting evidence at the crime scene. He said they were called to help with the search of the backyard. There were 2 locations in the backyard that looked disturbed. They were photographed and probed. The area was excavated. They obtained soil samples, digging tools, but no remains were found. And the tools were given to Bakersfield Police Department. Then Hennessy, who is Trezell's defense attorney, crossed and asked him about tips. And Hunter recalls receiving a tip about a sighting of the boys in Arlington, Texas. Hunter said that he forwarded the tip to Bakersfield PD, and Hennessy asked if there is any report about follow-up on this tip, and Hunter does not know. There are a lot of holes. God, I hope these people don't get off, you guys, because there are so many holes in this police investigation, and I wonder if that's because there's so many hands in the pot. So Tora Stallings got up and she was asking about going over the timeline of events surrounding the FBI's involvement. And she asked when the FBI stopped investigating this case. Hunter said he believed they never stopped, they just took a secondary role. She asked him how many cases of missing children he had worked on, and he can't recall how many. He said that the human trafficking can be a part of the investigation. Then they brought up Ryan Hulsey, and he is with the Bakersfield Police Department. He was a patrol officer on the night the boys were reported missing, and he drove around the neighborhood looking for the boys. He said he never entered the home. While canvassing, he said he found no signs indicating where the boys could be. He was also in charge of gathering DNA samples from Trezell and Jacqueline. And then she asked him a little bit more about his search. He said that the search was random. He did not write a report about his search, only the DNA samples. Then when Nasser got up to do his portion, he asked about his search, and Halsey says he's familiar with the area but doesn't recall what specific streets he searched that night. Halsey said he didn't get any surveillance footage or speak to anyone. It's not good. I mean, it just seems like it's just not good. All right, so then they had 3 witnesses that they brought up via Zoom, and the first one was Megan Silverlake. She's a crime scene photographer with the FBI. She was responsible for enhancing the audio and the video of all of the, different cameras that came in, the different, from all the neighbors' cameras and everything. She got 3 videos. And she just kinda went into the house. She, tried to sharpen the images to get a better look at it. And when the defense got up and asked her about it again, they asked her and what she did exactly to kind of do the enhancement, it was really not a whole lot, you know, just kinda basic stuff. Now, Austin Hine, I know I'm butchering his name. He's a forensic lab tech at Kern Regional Crime Lab. He was the one responsible for checking that diaper. Ooh, bless his heart. So, of course, they went in to test for DNA, and he took 1 swab of the inner lining. And oddly enough, the defense had no cross for him, which I find interesting. All right, then they had Jacqueline. Okay, now we've got Jacqueline's sister testifying via Zoom. And she now lives in Oregon, where she apparently went to escape an abuser. When she moved to Oregon, the West had only their first 2 children. She became aware her mother was fostering children, and she also became aware that Jacqueline and Trezell became foster parents. She only came back once to Bakersfield to visit after moving to Oregon, and it was in 2017. So why are we even questioning her? I guess they're making the point that this is another family member that wasn't in the lives of these children. The sister said she never met in person any of the children the West adopted. She said that she and Jacqueline would speak via Facebook Messenger, and when it came to them exchanging photos, it was mostly her photos of their dogs. She did identify a photo of some multicolored wooden blocks that she bought for the children to play with. Now, on December 17th, 2020, she called Jacqueline for a video chat. She recalls seeing the eldest child and a lot of little heads. She was singing happy birthday to someone, but wasn't paying attention to everyone in the video call. Then Fatima Rodriguez got up to across on behalf of Jacqueline, and she was asking her about the call to her sister had with law enforcement, which had been recorded. Oh, wait, let me restate that. She asked about the call that she had made with law enforcement, which was recorded. And apparently, a Bakersfield officer had asked her questions about Orrin and Orson, including the last time she saw them. The sister said she can't remember the conversation. Rodriguez asked her if she remembered telling the officers she had a video chat on December 17th and that she saw 6 kids, and the sister said yes, she remembers seeing small children. The sister said she became aware Jacqueline was moving in September of 2020 because she told her through Facebook. And that was it. When they came up for redirect, the sister said she's having trouble remembering what she told the grand jury when she testified. To almost every question posed by Smith, the sister responds, "I don't remember." She said she can't remember specifically asking for photos of the West children before they were reported missing. And when Smith asked her, "Have you ever seen photos of the adopted children?" she said she saw them afterwards. Apparently, she's been in chemotherapy treatments and it's not really helping with her memory. So then they excused her and they brought up Detective Jesse Perez. He was assigned to look for video and witnesses, among other things. He focused on the date of the reported disappearance. He went to Lancaster, California, to 3 major retail businesses to look for video evidence. The dates were specific to when the disappearance was reported, and the businesses were Lowe's, Winco, and Costco. He did observe Trezell making purchases from Lowe's and Winco and Jacqueline West making purchases from Costco, but that was in October of 2020, and no one was with them at the time, no children. He said records showed Trezell West in the area of Yokuts Park. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And he tried to find video to place him there. The time frame she looked for didn't have any video available. So that was in October of 2020. Perez also reviewed the Facebook and Instagram data for the profiles belonging to Jacqueline and said that she primarily had contact with her sister, Perla Martinez, and her mother, Maria Martinez. They brought up a profile photo of Jacqueline's West account in 2019, which shows her with 4 of the children. On December 23rd, 2020, Jacqueline West sent a message, "Please tell them we love and miss them. The boys need to ask for a lawyer if they want to talk to them again. I don't want them twisting whatever they are saying." That message was sent to Trezell West's mother and had to do with the law enforcement questioning the other 4 kids. All the conversations were in Spanish on Facebook. Then they discussed another photo that was sent on Christmas Day 2019 that shows Jacqueline West and the 4 children. Orrin and Orson aren't pictured. Wow. A photo on February 4th, 2020 shows the entire West family, including Orrin and Orson, and that photo was sent to Perla Martinez. On May 22nd of 2020, Jacqueline West told her sister about an incident with the youngest children in which Orrin ate Orson's food. And Jacqueline West sent a gif of a woman with her hands up and teeth clenched as if she were angry or frustrated. In other messages that day, she says she believes Orrin and Orson had certain characteristics from their biological parents. On June 8th of 2020, Jacqueline West refers to the little one's birthday. "He is a little weird one," she wrote. She said he stands or sits all day. Perez said he found it odd that Jacqueline didn't use the child's name. Yeah, that is odd. On September 12th of 2020, Jacqueline West sent a photo showing 4 of the children, not Orrin or Orson. Then Perez testified he reviewed digital devices for this case. In one device, he found photos and videos of the children, some from Orrin and Orson in 2020. The date was July 25th. The videos appeared to have been taken by the eldest son, showing the children playing with the toys. They appeared to have been taken at the Lotus Lane apartment in Bakersfield. The first video shows Orrin West playing, and it's about 6 minutes long, and the video was taken again July 25th, 2020. Perez identified 3 still images taken. One shows Orrin from the video that was just seen, showing Orrin with a tow truck, and the next photo shows Orson West in a diaper. They were all taken again on July 25th, 2020. Then they brought up another video that was from July 26th of 2020, and it's Orrin and Orson can be seen in the van. Perez had made a comment that one of his goals was to find the most recent photos or the videos of Orrin and Orson. He testified he reviewed several digital devices, and they were about 17 or 18 total. On the USB drives, there were photos of some of the other children, but not Orrin or Orson. Perez testified he was involved in a wiretap during the investigation. The wiretap occurred on February 24th of 2021 through March 14th of 2021. He's explaining how the wiretap works to intercept telephone calls and listen in. Timothy Hennessy, who is Trezell West's lead attorney, got up and they started discussing the Facebook records. And Perez had said that the Facebook records were about 4,000 pages. Only a small portion were relevant to the investigation. Hennessy asked him to clarify questions about when certain photos were being taken. And on redirect, Smith asked Perez about DNA swabs that were taken of Charles Pettis, the biological father. And that was it. Then they brought up Detective Carlos Arvizu. He's a certified Spanish translator with the Bakersfield Police Department. In December of 2020, he went to Maria Martinez's home. Now, Maria Martinez, that's Jacqueline's mom. There was a search warrant for her phone at the time. When they went there, Trezell and Jacqueline were also at the home. And he was with several other detectives. He assisted in translating Facebook message between Jacqueline and her mother. On September 18th, 2020, Jacqueline West tells her mother they're now in California City. On the same day, she tells her mother they're going to get a U-Haul and will clean the apartment because it needs painting. Also on that same date, Jacqueline sends a message to her mother saying they're waiting for Trezell's mother so that they can go and do the rest of it. I guess she's waiting for her to get the kids. And then on September 19th, Jacqueline wrote saying that he wants to go to the house, but he's not going to sleep. On the same day, she gives the area of this. I don't know who she's talking about, though. Jacqueline wrote saying he wants to go to the house, but he's not going to sleep. Probably, I think she's talking about Trezell. Then she sends her a message later saying, "We've arrived." So he talked about listening in on the wiretapped calls. One appeared that they were trying to get out of Bakersfield pretty quick. He said he recognized the voices involved and he had spoken to both Maria and Jacqueline West. They played the wiretap call for the jury. Of course, it was all in Spanish, so they had to do a translation in English and give all that to the jury. And of course, none of us got any of that information. Unbelievable. It's like pulling out teeth trying to get information on this trial. So then Taurus Stallings got up and she was asking about the call. Then she was asking how he received the textbook messages, and he said that he uses a time zone calculator to determine the time when the messages were sent. Taurus Stallings asked about the specific time. So she was trying to pin down in her questioning exactly what time they arrived in Cal City. Then they brought up Senior Officer Jamie Orozco. He's one of the deputies that helped with the wiretap intercepts, and he had participated in 4 wiretaps while at Bakersfield Police Department. And he's also assisted in the Spanish-English translations. He listened to a wiretap call between Jacqueline and Maria. The call was pertinent because there was a joke about missing children and people laughing during the call. Either the mother or the daughter talked about missing socks, and one of them said, "Maybe they will pop up like the missing children," and they laughed. What? They played it for the jury, but again, it was in Spanish. And Taurus Stallings got up to cross him, and he basically agreed there were 3 topics going on in the conversation. He said he translated the transcript she was holding. They then called Bakersfield detective Thomas Hernandez. On December 28th of 2020, he went to the Jameson Center to listen to an interview. He was later assigned the lead investigator. He authored warrants for numbers of Maria Perez, Ryan Dean, who is the biological mother of both the children, and a number they never identified the owner of. One number was for Jacqueline West. Hernandez testified he reached out to a company regarding paternity tests for the children, and he authored a warrant to obtain those DNA profiles. The profiles were booked into evidence and submitted to the Department of Justice. He said that during any missing persons investigation, they asked for DNA samples so that if any remains are found, they'll be able to identify. And the piece that we've all been waiting on, which is Ryan Dean's testimony. And again, she is the biological mother for both Orrin and Orson, who were known as Classic and Sincere, or Sincere and Classic by that family. So the DA gets up there and asks her how long she was able to take care of the boys and where they went after they were taken by Child Protective Services. She explained that she only had the youngest, she only had Orson for like 2 weeks, I think, and then they took him away because at the time they had already taken Orrin. Smith asked her about Latoya Spryer Sanders, who fostered the boys after they were taken from Dean. And Dean said that she would see the boys during visitations, which lasted for a few months only. It sounded as if she had a really good relationship with Miss Sanders, just in the way she was answering questions and she talked about her. And Dean did say that she did miss some appointments due to work. So in some of these times where she was offered or had the ability to do visitations, she wasn't able to be there because of her work. She was asked about each of the boys and their personalities, and she said that Sincere was happy, smart, funny, and loved music. She said he liked to dance a lot. And Classic was happy, but he was still learning a lot, but he was happy. Smith had asked about the visitations stopping and why they had stopped, and she said that they stopped after the boys went to live with Trezell and Jacqueline. She did say that she was not being informed of an adoption being pending on them. Like, she just found out after they were adopted that they had been adopted. And if you guys have been following this trial, Dean's mother went through a whole bunch of stuff to try to get the boys so that she could foster them and eventually adopt them, but that never happened. Dean said that her last opportunity to go visit the boys, she didn't go. But at the time that she didn't go, she did not realize that they were being adopted. Oh my goodness. I didn't catch this, but so what I found to be odd was that she didn't realize that they had been adopted until after they were reported missing. And that last visitation that they were referencing was at Christmas of 2019. Dean confirmed she'd never gone to the West Apartment in Bakersfield. She never had her visitation outside of DHS. So everything was done at the county or the official offices. She never went to anyone's home. Dean also confirmed that she was the one that had asked for a paternity test to be done so that they could confirm if they had found either the children's body. After the boys were taken, she started taking parenting classes to try to get the boys back. She said she'd obtained a legal medical marijuana card, and that's why she was unable to get them back. She also confirmed that she didn't know the boys' names had been changed until she saw the news. Obviously, she didn't even know they'd been adopted, so how would she know their new names had been changed? After the boys were reported missing and Dean went to Cal City to find out what happened, she said that both Trezell and Jacqueline had zero emotion in their faces. Dean said she was the one who contacted Cal City Police. She said she spoke to Jesse Hightower. She also provided a DNA swab to Bakersfield PD. And again, Smith brought up the name TT. He said, "Is anybody in your family nicknamed TT?" And she said no. I wonder if the children brought that name up, TT. Somewhere they're getting this name TT, and it's gonna come to light. It just hasn't yet. Dean confirmed that she never went to Cal City before the boys were missing, nor did she ask anyone to go to Cal City and take the boys from the West. When Hennessy got up and did his cross, he asked basically about the last visit, and she confirmed that she had told that Miss Sanders, the original foster mom, about the disappearance before she went to Cal City. And Hennessy asked her if she lived in Texas, and she said she goes back and forth. She lives near Arlington. How did they end up in California if she's in Texas? So she moved to Texas, I guess. And then Tora Stallings got up and was asked about, oh, she's going to try to make her look bad. She said, Sincere was taken at 3 months because of a broken leg, and Classic was taken a few weeks after he was born. And she confirmed all that. Tora Stalling asked if Dean had been aggressive and confrontational towards Jacqueline during a visit, and Dean said no. Dean said she didn't go to the last visit because she didn't want them to keep doing what they were doing. So again, Torres kind of like, why weren't you there? And she said that after they were no longer being fostered by the Sanders, that she was having a hard time like getting meetings or something with them to be able to see the kids. Tora Stalling asked Dean if she had ever lied to law enforcement in the investigation, and she said that she did at first, but they didn't go into it. So I don't know what that was about. So I don't know. Again, I apologize if this seems like there's not a whole lot, but this is all I got. I mean, I'm looking at my notes that I took when I was listening, and I'm also looking at notes from different reporters that were actually in the courtroom when all this stuff was being said, and I can't piece it all together the way I'd like to, but I feel like the prosecution is getting close to, being at the end of calling all their witnesses, and I'm just waiting for them to put a big bow on top of this thing because I don't see I mean, it seems like they bring up all these police and the police talk about, all that they did and what they found, and they've made notes that look, there's not a lot of evidence that the boys were ever in Cal City. That's been made very apparent to the jury, but I feel like there's not enough there. Like there needs to be more, and hopefully they're going to get to it here in the next couple of days because then we're going to turn it over to the defense, and I don't even know. They're probably going to bring up like character witnesses and stuff for the Wests. I have no idea. So until then, let's see what happens. Now tomorrow, I may do tomorrow's update on today's Tuesday. Let me check. So I might do Wednesday's update on Thursday and put Wednesday and Thursday together in one update, rather because this trial is just the way it's been going. It's probably easier for me to do like 2 days at a time. So I'm still going to try to get you that 20 to 40-minute video so you can kind of get up to date on what's going on, but uh, just less videos. So that's it for today, guys. Until the next one, have a blessed day, and I will see you guys soon.